Oh, Jesus. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I'll be having my first video under the Marketing Matters with Hawemuurhh section. And yeah, so this is going to be a new YouTube series from me, which I'll be discussing everything and all things marketing. I might break it down into like more subsections or series, but yeah, this is the first video in Marketing Matters with Hawemuurhh, and my first video will be about the ZARA campaign. Yeah. So a lot of uproar happened with regards to the ZARA campaign, and I just felt like okay, some valid points would be made, some not so valid. A lot of evil and hate was spread, but I mean, from a marketing perspective, this is essentially what I had to say. So if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please like this video and tell me if you want to see more like this, and even like recommend anything related to marketing that you want me to cover. And so basically with regards to this video, for those of you who don't know, what actually happened was ZARA selected about 600 influencers, if I'm not mistaken, and they were chosen for a campaign in which they will announce the store launch of not the store launch, sorry, the online store near ZARA. What we must understand is that ZARA is a huge brand, like huge, right? And ZARA was unconventional in that they chose a lot of micro-influencers for the campaign. Although ZARA did use a lot of smaller influencers, they also did use your mainstream big influencers as well. But I think the majority was micro-influencers, so I guess that's what really made people feel a little bit like, what the hell's going on? First of all, I thought it was a great campaign from ZARA. It trended, like on Google Trends in South Africa, it was trending. And what we need to realize in actual fact, so the thing is, right, with micro-influencers, you get a lot of engagement, right? And it's a known thing that the more followers you get, the less your engagement. It's just how it is, right? So you use micro-influencers when you want reach. You use micro-influencers when you want genuine engagement, right? ZARA used macro-influencers and micro-influencers. So together, they were ticking boxes where they're getting maximum reach, but also great engagement, which led to trending throughout South Africa for like about 2 days. So for me, if that's what ZARA really wanted to achieve, they damn well achieved it. That was a great campaign. But also, what I like about ZARA's campaign is that it didn't only bring to light that the right mix of influences works, but they also showed us that there's no shame in being a micro-influencer, and in actual fact that it's not the numbers that matter so much, but it's the genuine engagement. But what you'll then realize is that when you start small and your numbers are smaller, a lot more people generally relate to you because they see you as your average everyday human being. Whereas the bigger you get, people start to view you as less approachable. You might not become less genuine or less approachable when you get a bigger following. But people's perception, and mind you, people's perception really matters within branding and marketing. It may not be the case, but the fact that people perceive things to be that way is a game changer. So as soon as people perceive that your numbers are so high that you've become unapproachable, they engage less, and people's perception is everything. That's the consumer that you're trying to reach. And as soon as they find you unrelatable and unapproachable, I mean, yeah. So ZARA had a great campaign. That was a good mix of modern day marketing, which is influencer marketing. And although a lot of people were saying, I saw some conversations about the fact that all these micro influencers are getting is just like a small voucher. You can barely buy anything with that at ZARA. So, and I think I've mentioned this before on one of my Instagram stories, that when you're an influencer, you decide what is of value to you. So, ZARA, big brand. Voucher, small. But at the end of the day, once you've taken part in that campaign, you have a big brand attached to your name. So does that voucher really matter? Because it seems like a bonus. Like, you're working with ZARA. Think about that credibility, or the fact that now any other brand that says to you, hey, I want to work with you and I wanna pay you this much or exchange with you this much, because you've worked with ZARA, it's almost like a bargaining chip of that. Well, I've worked with campaigns like ZARA, so I feel like I'm worth a little bit more than that. So it's not always about the value exchange. Sometimes it's about working with a brand that ups your credibility, where it shows that, okay, if you've worked with a brand this big, then no one should take you lightly because you're worth that much, you know? So not all campaigns are literally about the buck. Some campaigns are about building up your repertoire. And I think for micro influencers, that was a great value exchange. And ZARA gave that to them and got the traction. Okay, all right. Followers don't equal influence. Nope, nah, doesn't. And before anyone comes for me thinking that I'm saying my opinions as book, no, I'm not saying any of what I'm saying right now is all the way correct. It is only my opinion. So before we get there, where my opinion might not matter because you find that I might not be qualified or credible, girl, God qualified me before that degree. But anyway, we're not there. Yeah, followers don't equal influence. And I say this because, hey, we have some really big influencers that brands are just like, hey, they have the numbers, but I don't see any results from using them, you know? And a lot of followers doesn't mean anyone is going to take an action. And the bottom line for a brand is to make money. And but this campaign was so huge in that, like, even like reputable like sources were writing about it. Like, I even read an article about it from IOL, although they did just stick on a lot of your tweets, but I mean, it was on IOL and Bizcommunity as well. Let me see some of the articles. So here's one from IOL. Micro influencers get lost laugh as ZARA's online shopping campaign goes viral. So, I also forgot to mention that most of the influencers came from this app called Humans, and I'll include another segment where I talk about that particular influencer agency, if you may call it. But it's a pretty good app, and I definitely think that if you want to start out, you should definitely hop on it. I don't have it, but I know a couple of people who are on Humans, and if you have 1,000 followers and above, like, try your luck there. Yeah, I'll leave some of these on here. But there was actually a very valuable article. I'll find it right now. Also, that does like tracks campaigns and analyzes them. So they also like did some things for it. But I'll just skim through this article and just let you know about it. Essentially, they share a lot of numbers from, here we go, the total social reach for ZARA was 6.25 million worldwide. Okay. Then, that was on the Tuesday, right, mind you. And then on the day of the online store launch, the number increased to 7.88 million worldwide. So, by that Wednesday of the actual launch, right, ZARA was the #1 trending topic on Twitter. And yes, South Africa, its secondary hashtag, it was trending at #6. And online posts on social media that included the word ZARA and online saw South Africa contributing to about 55.77% of all global mentions. And then it was followed by the USA with about 3.47%, and then the UK with 1.09% of those mentions. Yeah, so in actual fact, I already read this article, but I was just skimming through like the numbers. But what this campaign really revealed was that the engagement was like off the charts. The engagement for this campaign was hella high, like hella high. So if you say this campaign wasn't that great, or you're still bitter about it, stop being bitter, be better. Because this was a solid campaign. And I don't know how many other numbers I gotta read for people to realize that. But congratulations to everyone who managed to hop on this campaign, and wish you all the best in your growth, man. Just keep working. Someone notices. So yeah, I'll share the rest of those stats. Like, I'll link the article below. Okay, another thing that I'd also like to mention though is that although there was a lot of negativity around the ZARA campaign, negative sentiment, there was only about 17.8% of negative sentiment around the ZARA campaign. And there was some neutral, and about 64% was positive. So I mean, why are we even focusing on the negative? But it's just that just because there's a few people being negative about a certain topic doesn't mean that the whole world is negative about it, you know? And maybe we shouldn't give negativity that much attention, you know? But yeah, in closing, just a word of advice to influencers in general is that be authentic, 1. 2, never stop being driven to your focus. Work on your craft. Someone will take notice. Don't worry about what's happening on the outside. Just focus on what you're doing and just do it well. Also, send out those proposals. Don't sit, because if you're not putting in the work to get noticed, then you probably won't be. Some are lucky in that just the small that they do it so well that they don't need to approach brands. But don't be shy to approach brands, create a media kit, send it out, write out those proposals, just do it. Just be out there and And for brands, take a note out of Zara's book and use the right mix of influences. And now when I say the right mix for brands, I literally mean not just using a good mix of micro and macro. Now I'm talking about relatability, authenticity, and relevancy. Choose influences based on the fact that they're actually relatable to the audience you're trying to target, that they're actually relevant to that audience and the brand as well. And make sure that they're authentic. Make sure that these people are not necessarily users of your product or service, but rather that they would use it and use it comfortably. For example, you can't use an influencer that doesn't drink to promote alcohol. That's just like a simplest thing, So find out more about the influencers that you choose. Vet them properly and find out if they really are a good fit. Because if you're not doing that, then it's nobody's fault that you're not achieving your bottom line. And choose the right influencers as a brand, and as an influencer, be the right influencer for a brand. So thank you so much for watching this video. It was pretty fun filming it actually. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, just comment down below. And if you haven't watched any of my other videos, please do. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in my next video. Bye.